Hello, greetings nail people. Come on in. Hi. Hello, hello. Entree, entree. Hi. Hello, everyone. Hi. Kate and Mary and Andrea, of course, and hello. Come on in. Today we have the Disney Resort, but done Vegas style cup with my Starbucks in it, as I went to Starbucks, but then I put it in a cup. So instead of my lazy girl way of when I'm broadcasting, I just sort of stick that in there. Hello in Michigan. Hi. Yeah, you guys make sure you share with everybody. You know the drill. So what I would like to talk about today, or discuss, shall we say, is since my show on Monday, where we talked a lot about, if you want to see change happen, look in the mirror and start there. So that got me thinking about some other situations I've seen lately. And my question that I would like everyone to ask themselves is, are you, as a nail tech, a good customer? Because we're all somebody's customer, right? Like everything's a supply chain for everything. We are in the supply chain of our clients getting their services done. And within that supply chain is the manufacturers we buy stuff from, the educators we get training from, the companies that we use for booking software, where we have our salon at, like everything. It's all one big supply chain, okay? And so my question is are you a good customer? So the things we ask of in regards of our clients is we ask for them to pay for their services at the time they're rendered. And we ask them to, if they make an appointment, to keep it. And if they can't, to cancel it with enough notice that we can put somebody else in that spot so we don't lose money, right? Some of us guarantee our work, some don't. Some provide some level of a guarantee. But some people don't provide a guarantee because we can't tell what people are going to do when they walk out of our salon, right? So we think about all these things we expect our clients to understand, that we're the professionals, the license, and all that kind of stuff. So I would like us to take a journey down placing ourselves in the shoes of the client and everybody who's the next step up in the supply chain from us into the same kind of role that we sit in. So recently, and so for example, if you're doing a client's nails and something goes wrong, you would expect them to tell you so that you have an opportunity to try to make it right? Like, we all get mad if somebody just hops on Yelp or Facebook or wherever and starts blasting our business or talks badly about us to other people without ever contacting us for potential resolution. I mean, maybe we can't help. Maybe it's something we can't help, but maybe it is. And if we weren't even asked, then we get really pissy, right? Okay, well, there was a situation that I was aware of recently where a educator was trying to schedule a class, and she scheduled the class, and she put down a non-refundable deposit for the event, and then people signed up for the class, and when they signed up for the class, they were told that the deposit, and she was trying to be nice, she was trying to make it so that people could make it in payments because it was a lot of money, and trying to make it so that everybody who wanted to could do this training. And so she made the first payment the deposit to hold your place, she told everybody it was non-refundable. And it was non-refundable because she was putting down, and she actually did it in this order first, because she was going to use that non-refundable deposit they were paying her to place the non-refundable deposit on the venue. And then everybody knew they had 2 more payments to make. Well, the problem is that the people who signed up for the class paid their deposit, and then most of them never made their second payment. And so because the second payment was due and nobody made their second payment except for just a couple of people, she had to cancel the class because she couldn't pay for the rest of the venue. And so the people, but she said it was non-refundable. So what she has been trying to do is come up with an alternate education opportunity that can be done within the price of what people have already paid for their deposit. And the rest of the people really don't have any room to complain because they didn't make their second payment. So the problem is that one of these people who didn't make their second payment decided to hop right on social media and blast this person and organization. And that's a problem because then everybody on social media, just like when we always see everything else, Pepsi, United, we don't see the whole side of the story, right? We just get to hear the person who's doing the talking. And that is going to scare people away from trying to do something for our industry that's clamoring for education. But I'm not going to make it so my family doesn't eat so that somebody else can run their business better. Like, even if I was just going to do it for free, it's one thing to do it for free. It's a completely different story to pay for it myself. Like, I'm not paying for you to run your business. So the person jumped right on and blasted everybody. So, right, Darlene? So my question is that being a good customer? The person who put down the deposit, knew it was non-refundable, and even if the class got canceled for any reason, knew it was non-refundable, then when they didn't follow up their end of the deal by making their second payment, they went and blasted social media. Andrew says the people who paid as they should have gotten a refund. The ones who paid only a part, their loss. Well, that's the thing, is that for the people who did pay, they were refunded their second payment. And for their first payment, they're getting a class, a really good class actually, done online for the portion of their payment that was non-refundable. So, and they're okay with it. It's just the person who didn't make their second payment who's throwing a fit that they can't get their first payment money back when they knew it was non-refundable. But having said all that, so my question is that person being a good customer of the nail industry by not doing everything possible to acknowledge their part in the situation and working with the person who was their vendor to try and make it right. Instead, you just go to social media first. That's not cool. We wouldn't like it if our clients did that, right? So the other thing I was thinking about is in regards to products. So if you buy products and maybe you even take a manufacturer's class for it, and then you go back to the salon and you use those products not as the manufacturer intended for them to be used, and then they don't work right, you go on social media and blast the manufacturer for having a product that sucks. I'm kind of thinking maybe the problem is that you, just like a client who left and we don't know what they did with their nails, they decided to use their thumbnails as a screwdriver to swap out their carburetor. Kate says that's dishonest to criticize someone one-sided when you contributed to the issue, right? You'd be amazed how many people actually do that, Kate, in all areas of life. But so you go on social media and you blast a manufacturer for having a crappy product, or it doesn't work as they say it's going to, or whatever, when you're actually the one not using the system. Is that fair? People do it all the time. We see it all the time, all day long on social media. Is that fair? Probably not. Other things that we think about. In our salon services business, if we had other nail tech artists who were talking crap about us and bashing us all over town, even though they didn't really know us and they didn't have all the facts, yeah, Kate says people would rather find someone else to blame for their problems. True that. Mary says, but if, for example, if a distributor sells you something knowing that it doesn't work properly, is that okay? No, of course that's not okay. Of course that's not okay. So if you buy, I'm going to use an example of something I'm certified in because I know the line inside now. If I buy IBX, okay, and I buy IBX and I go through the classes and I get IBX certified, and then I start offering IBX in my salon and using it. But I decide that I'm not going to do the manicure portion first dry. I'm going to do it with cuticle remover. And then I decide that I'm not going to use like a nail prep before I put the IBX on. I'm going to use acetone. And then I say, oh, I'm not going to use a bulb, like for a heat lamp, like they say. I'm going to use a hair dryer, and I think it works better when I hold it 3 inches away from the nail, not 18 inches away from the nail. So I'm going to do it my way because, dude, it totally seems like it works better that way. And I'm not going to do 3 coats on the first application. I'm just going to do 2, 1 of each, because I don't need all 3. If I buy the product and I do all of that after I've been trained, and I decide to do it my way anyway, and then it doesn't work like the Nordstroms say it will work, do I have the right then to complain to everybody about how IBX doesn't work like they say it does? Of course not. Andrew says it's your fault, right? Of course not. When I make it that obvious, we say, of course not. But how many times do we see that in the message boards? Yeah, Mira says you're breaking the system, right? So, like, I'm going to use a product that I don't know very well, Glam & Glitz. Glam & Glitz has some amazingly really cool powder colors for acrylics, and they don't sell liquid monomer. But if you ask Glam & Glitz what monomer you are supposed to use with your system, they will tell you C&D Retention Plus. So if I buy Glam & Glitz powder and I choose to use it with my monomer, not Retention Plus, then I don't get to get mad that it doesn't work right. Because even though they didn't sell me the monomer, they told me what monomer they recommend to use with their product, and I didn't do it. But again, how many times do we see this when you're perusing the Facebook groups and the message boards and everything? How many times do we see this? We see it a lot. Where people are like, now, I understand that sometimes breaking the rules is what leads us to innovation. That leads us to find a way to do something that otherwise we didn't know how to do it. If we didn't spend all that time playing around with alcohol inks and Sharpies and rubbing alcohol, we probably wouldn't have figured out that 99% alcohol makes an amazing additive to ombre your gel polish colors together. We know that because we played with something else first. But were any of us getting on the Sharpie website complaining because our Sharpies weren't bleeding like we wanted them to on our Sharpie ink art on nails? I mean, I know, doesn't it sound ridiculous when I say it like this? But oh my gosh, people do it all the time. So what I was saying is that, you know, like we would be really mad, ombre alcohol wet. Oh, Lauren Wireman's got a good video up on the wildflowers. I think it's on YouTube, but if it's not, it's on her page or group or something. She's got a little special brush too that you use for, you put the two gel polish colors together and you put alcohol in this little brush and you flip it around in between it. It blends the colors together. It's pretty cool. I've done it without the fancy brush, but I want the fancy brush though. But so we wouldn't be okay with other nail techs in our area bagging on us when we didn't know. So why is it okay for some manufacturers, educators, and reps to talk about other ones? It's not, is it? It's not okay. It's not okay. So here is some good advice for everyone when it comes to that. If you are an educator, brand ambassador or otherwise, keep every other company's name out your mouth. There. Just don't ever say it. When you're teaching it, don't say it. When somebody asks you about your product or a technique or something, don't say it. Like, you can say, I work for Masterworks. And somebody says, well, how is Masterworks different from C&D? You don't say, well, with Brisa, it doesn't do this, and it doesn't do that, and it doesn't do this. But with Masterworks, it does this, and it does this. Don't. No. No. You say, well, I can't speak for any other brands. But when it comes to Masterworks, I can tell you that it's a self-leveling, cool gel that doesn't heat in the lamp, and it is very versatile. We have one gel that you can use for everything if that's what you choose to do. And it's really rigid compared to a lot of other gels. I can say all of those things with never mentioning the other thing. Right? If you personally don't like one company's brand of callus remover spray, then don't use it. And don't bash it. Say, if somebody says, does anybody use brand A? Don't say, I don't use brand A, I tried it and it sucked. I use brand B. Say, I used brand B because I like that it's a better price point. Or I can get it locally at a beauty distributor. Or whatever. But, you know, say, or I found it easier for me to use. Come on, guys. Doesn't this all seem like no-brainers? But how often do we see the exact opposite? And Kate says, focus your time and energy on things you love. Right? I mean, how many times do we see this negativity within our level up to the manufacturers? You know, people complaining about no education, but then when education's offered, they say they don't want to pay for it. You know, okay, well, what do we say about our clients? If our clients want to get gel enhancements done and they can't afford $38 every 2 weeks, then maybe they shouldn't have gel enhancements done. Right? Okay, well, as a nail tech, if you want to use a certain product and you can't afford all the steps of the system and you don't want to pay for education, then maybe you shouldn't use that product. Or maybe you shouldn't be a nail tech, or at least not one running your own business. I mean, that's what we would say about our clients, right? But we don't say that when it comes to the nail industry. You know, we're not, we all grumble and blah, 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 blah about, prices and how hard it is to charge and all that kind of stuff. We're marketing services and marketing our time. I say all the time, my most expensive cost in my service is my time. Well, product manufacturers don't have that. They have to carry inventory, and they have the cost of the product, and they have the cost of the educators and all the people who are going to market it and sell it, and all of the travel expenses and promotion and all that kind of stuff. But we want to make sure that they discount everything so that we can afford it, so that we can not raise our prices. And when they do raise their prices, we get pissy. Well, they're carrying a way bigger risk than we are, because their risk is inventory. And that's product that sits on a shelf and gets old. Or we say we don't like how something's packaged or branded or whatever. Well, okay, but they have to sell through, even if they hear you, they have to sell through the old branding and the old packaging to get to the new stuff that and that takes a while. That takes time, like a year to do that. And so, like I said, in my quest for us ever deciding to be our best version of ourselves in the nail industry, I would like to implore everyone who watches this video, live, replay, YouTube, whatever, to think about all the roles in the industry that you are the client, that you are the customer, and ask if you are being a good customer. Because I'm willing to bet that there's a lot who would have to admit they're not. You know, if you go to, let's take another business, for example. Let's get outside the industry. You say you decide you're going to go to Starbucks and get a cup of coffee. And while you're waiting in Starbucks to get a cup of coffee, it's really loud. There is a lady who is very rudely not getting off her phone while she's snapping at the barista and trying to order her drink. And then there's another lady whose kid is digging into the self-service bar of food that she's screaming at him, trying to get out of it. The kid's screaming and all that kind of stuff, right? All of that affects your own experience, right? We would argue that the inconsiderate bee on the phone needs to get off the phone and order her coffee and stop being a jackalope to the barista and cashier. And we would argue that, lady with crazy Timmy who is, wreaking havoc on the entire store, that she wrangle her kid down or decide she doesn't need a coffee today and leaves and goes and drives to McDonald's. As a customer, as another customer, that's what we would expect, right? We would be in there going, oh my God, really? Really? Okay, well, what about if you're at a nail show and you're waiting in line at a booth, or you're in a class and you're taking a class about education? We all know the people who sit in the class and argue with everything the educator says. Well, that's not what I heard. Well, that's not what I said. And they're all obnoxious. You know what I mean? Or the person who can't stop goofing around on their phone in the class they're so busy taking selfies of themselves in the class that they're actually disrupting everybody who's trying to learn something in the class. We know that's not cool, right? Is that you? Is it? Maybe? I'm just saying that we need to, in the first step of this standing and looking ourselves in the mirror to make our industry a better place to be, we need to do some introspection on what kind of customer we are. Are we a good customer? Are we a customer who's jumping up and down and screaming and yelling for education, but then when they go to provide education, we don't take it and classes have to get canceled? Everybody complains about they go to brand education because that's all there is, and that the whole time they're not actually getting educated. They're getting sold the product that the class is for, all of that. But when independent, non-product related educators try to teach classes, people either don't want to pay that much for them because there's no product to sell to make extra money, so the educator has to charge more, or they, no, that day and time won't work, or no, I don't really want that, or no, I don't want this. It's like, how about we all stop saying no quite so much and maybe try saying yes a little bit more? So I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer. I seriously don't. But this is all stuff that we really need to address, like, before our beloved industry kind of implodes on itself. Because what will happen eventually, if we don't take some responsibility and some control for what's going on here, what will happen eventually is the veterans who love the industry will age out. They'll retire, or they'll just get sick of dealing with all of the rest of the whippersnappers and changes and drama, and they'll just go on to doing something else. And the people who are coming up in the industry, anybody who's been a nail tech for any less than about 2 years, there is so much about our industry that's good and positive and wonderful that they don't know nothing about because they didn't live through it. And if we're not there as the veterans to take those newbies and teach them how wonderful and amazing this creative, cool, social, beauty, fashion, service industry can be, if we aren't the ones to take them and do that, then they're not going to know, and they're going to burn out and age out fast. Because let me tell you, the way some stuff's going on in this industry right now, it's going to be a problem. Like, we got to grab the bull by the horns right now and take control and fix it. You know, for those of us who are old nail techs like me, we remember the analogy of, you know, we're not mad sticking your fingers in a bowl of palm olive anymore. By the way, try saying that in front of a class you're teaching of people under the age of 25. It's really funny, the crickets that you get. But makes you feel old. But we're not just filing, you know, removing polish, filing some nails and pushing back some cuticles with an orange wood stick and slapping some more polish on. We're not that anymore. The products that we use are incredibly technologically advanced. We have things now like staph infections and MRSA and stuff that we never had to deal with before. You know, we're dealing with a climate where it used to be that almost everybody had a job that provided benefits, that had, you know, we're talking 40, 50 years ago, people had jobs that had benefits, that had medical. Well, now we've got lots of people here in the States who don't have medical, or if you're outside the States, the wait to go see a specialist in a universal healthcare system may be a really long time. So what do we do when somebody comes in that historically we would have said, nah, you need to go to a doctor. I'm not touching that till I get clearance from a doctor. Or that doesn't look right. I need you to go see a doctor. But what if they can't go see a doctor? What if to go see that doctor, who's probably just going to glance at it and go, meh, you're fine, and send them out the door, they don't have $150 to pay for that office visit cash? And I would say, okay, well, then they just don't need to get salon services done. But when you can, a lot of places walk in and get an $18 pedicure, they're just going to go somewhere else. That's not going to help make the situation better. It's not going to help make the industry better. And so we have to, you know, we can pie in the sky dream about the way we want the industry to be, and we can, you know, reflectively look back at a better time in a different era of when the nail industry was great or whatever, and we can long for a time like that again. But we also need to realistically look around at where we are, what we've got, the climate we're in, and if you're a member of University of Nails, you know all of the things. Hi, Amy. You know all of the things that I'm talking about, because we're talking about, you know, market analysis and SWOT analysis and all that. We need to, you know, there's that whole, there's the optimist, the pessimist, and the realist. And so I'm not going to be the pessimist and say our industry sucks and it's going to hell in a handbasket and we're destroying it and blah, blah, blah. Especially when that phrase comes from somebody who is not nor has ever been a licensed working professional operator. I guess operator is the old school word for us. But I'm not going to be the total optimist either of the pie in the sky of, oh, it's so fabulous, we'll just make pretty nails and everything will work out, because that's not going to help either. But I'm the realist, and we need to really take a look around at our industry, our market area, our clientele, the trends, social media, the people who are coming into the industry, the people who are leaving the industry, the people who are changing roles in the industry, the new products, the new technologies, the new challenges facing everybody. We need to look at all of those realistically, and then we need to put the best possible version of our work selves out there for the industry. So, I think I got my point across. Pretty sure. So, you know, I want Nails Over Coffee to be all lovies and kissies and, you know, we're patting ourselves on the back because we are the most awesomest. We are. And that we are not the, you know, hated stepchildren of the beauty industry. We are. But sometimes issues gotta get real, man. And I think right now, this is the exact time for ish to get real. You know, if we want to grow our businesses, if we want to grow our industry, if we want to right size our industry by weeding out the bad seeds that just need to go find something else to do for a living, if we want to do all of those things, then we can't just sit and pretend with our head in the clouds that it doesn't exist, or throw up our hands and give up and go, well, this just sucks and it's never going to get better, so I'm out. We can't do that either. So I implore everyone who watches this video, hi Dana Lynn, I implore everyone who watches this video to, again, just like I asked on Monday, to share it, to put it out there, and to try and hopefully put this in front of the eyeballs of some of the people who really need to hear and see this part, because, you know, there are so many nail techs all around the world. So many. We have 1/3 here in the US alone. You had Canada, you had the UK, you had Germany and Italy and everything. You add, you know, everybody around the world, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, the Philippines. You had everybody all around. There's like millions of us. But we see the same faces and the same people all the time spouting the same things, good and bad. So we need to find a way to reach out beyond our little networks. Reach out in your nail professional community. Reach out in your nail professional country. Reach out within your field of expertise. If you're somebody who knows lots and lots and lots and lots about something, then find a way to share that something in a positive manner, and maybe find a way to make a little money doing it too, to justify your time. And, you know, because the entire weight of the industry is not any one person's shoulders, you know. So on a lighter note, you guys like my hair clip? Rain got that for me for Christmas. And I got a great Yelp review from one of my brand new spray tan clients who found me on Yelp. I'll have to talk to you guys about that next week. My whole ad campaign for this year is wrapped up in Yelp. So I'll have to explain to you guys how I did all that, how that worked. It's part of my new strategy. But yeah, I got, you know, sometimes with spray tans, it's tough because people don't get them done all the time. And if it's a new client and you don't hear back from them, you don't know if you would have heard back from them if it was bad, or, you know, whatever. A lot of times we don't get the good feedback. And so I was really excited. She left me a really awesome Yelp review the day after her tan. And I was like, oh, see, that's part of why I do this. So, all right, guys. Anybody else have anything else to say? My lighting in here is very strange today. I keep getting darker and lighter, and I'm not really sure why. Maybe I need to move closer. I felt like a princess today. my own little cheap World Market version of a tiara. I got new to me shellac colors this week. That was fun. I put those up on the palettes, and working on odor control in my new space. For those of you who aren't friends with me on Facebook, having odor issue things. So, hi, Camille. Okay, and for those of you who are in my neck of the woods, don't forget, yeah, right, Tina Lynn. Don't forget the Oregon, the One Nail Expo is in May 22nd, I believe, or 21st, May 21st, Sunday, whatever that Sunday is in the 20s right there. So I will be there. I already have my ticket. If you don't have your ticket, make sure you get your ticket. It helps Kristen and everybody else a great deal at the check-in table. If they're checking in, people have already done their tickets, not trying to sell new tickets. So if you're planning on going, get your tickets ASAP. I will be there. I'm going to make an effort to be there early in the morning, broadcasting from the line like I did last year, which was super fun. And so if you see me, grab me and go, hey, yo, let's talk and broadcast. And even if you don't want to be on camera, if you see me, make sure that you grab a hold of me and go, yo, nails over coffee, dude, or whatever. So make sure you get your tickets for that. If you're anywhere within driving, short flying, whatever distance, come hang out with us at our springtime Northwest event. Of course, the fall one is Nail Camp in October. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys about Yelp on Monday, and that's it. Oh yeah, there's been no more complaints about smell. It was a massage client that complained, and it happened to be on a day where I had done a couple of acrylic services, which I had never done in here in the same day before, and it happened to be on a day of the week where this entire building was rocking and rolling. Like, it smelled to high heaven in this building of hairspray and hair color and perms and relaxers, and I'm sure that I just added my acrylic smell to the mix. And you know, of course, it's easy to blame it on acrylic. I think it just kind of pushed us over the threshold of what is tolerable for smell in the building. I think we all just got kind of overloaded the system and got kind of extreme. So my landlord's amazing. You can see my outtake vent up there, right where my finger is. See that? That's where the air goes out of my suite. My building landlord, space landlord people have called Aerovex and have gotten the filters to go in the HVAC system. So that there'll be a filter that will cordon me off from mixing air with the other suites. And we're working on getting my Healthy Air Aerovex source capture system fixed from what I think is a blown fuse. Not sure, but might be a bad cord. So I'm going to put a different cord on it and see if that helps. And so, you know, but it's fixed and everybody's been super nice. So now I'm going to do some nails. I got new to me shellac colors, Cosmoprof and the Industry Source. So that would appear to mean it's a C&D thing, not a whatever thing. Lost Labyrinth and Bicycle Yellow and two other colors. I can't remember what they are. They're listed in all the flyers, are on sale for $9.95. And if you are a shellac user, right now at Cosmoprof, Express 5 Top Coat, the 1/4 ounce bottle that's this size, is only $5. So pick up a couple of those from your local store. And if you are in the need of expanding some shellac colors, they have a special going on right now for if you buy 10 shellac colors, which makes it $159.50 or something like that. If you buy 10 shellac colors, you get a free base coat and a free Express 5 top coat. So if you're in the need to buy some new colors, this is a good time to at least get some free stuff out of it while you do it. I just bought like I restocked some colors and then bought a couple of colors on the $10 special, and I bought 2 bottles of Express 5 top coat. I like to use Express 5 as my top coat that I first used to seal in Rockstar Glitter or pigment, and then if I need to use a different top coat for strength or whatever, then I either use the original or the Duraforce over the top of that. If I don't need any of those things, then I just use another coat of the Express 5 to make my glitter nails all nice and smooth. So I go through a lot of Express 5 because of the glitter thing. So $5 a bottle, you know, I was picking up that stuff. So some good sales. Make sure that's how we keep our bottom line effective, right? Anybody else wish they were there in that picture with me? Wouldn't it be cool if we could just dive into that picture? If we could just go, oh, look, the Maldives. Wouldn't that be fun? Alas, we cannot. All right, guys. I'm not exactly sure when my client will be here, but I'm sure it will be any minute. And so I am going to skedaddle and get this uploaded to YouTube. So thank you, everybody, for joining me. And, you know, may the nail force be with you. I just watched Rogue One the other day, so it's kind of on my mind. You know, I am one with the force. The force is with me. I am one with the nail force. The nail force is with me. So everybody, you know, share away and let's get back to the business of all making a lot of money, making a living doing nails, and all being happy and good citizens of our industry. Starting with you and me. I'm not above everything. Me too. Let's all be the best versions of ourselves. All right. I will see you guys on Monday at 1 p.m. my time. And I'm not sure when our next Pass the Polish is. I think it's the end of April. But as soon as I have a date for that, I'll let you guys know too, for a Pass the Polish scope train. All right. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Ciao. Arrivederci. Very excited because I write for an Italian nail magazine, you know, so my Italian's getting better. All right, guys. Till next time. Bye.